Hello, welcome to Loaves and Letters. This is a channel where I talk about knitting things usually, but today is a bit of a different video. We are talking about a no-buy slash low-buy slash yarn destash and stationery supply challenge. Bit of a mouthful, but this is the very specific to me challenge that I have created in order to use up the yarn that I have. Obviously I feel like everyone is on a destash one week or the other, but also I have gotten recently back into journaling. This is my little planner that I got from Officeworks. It's the Otto personal planner or refillable planner, and I really love it. It's just a cover. It comes with these two books, one with like a monthly undated insert, which reminds me I need to put in the July dates, and just like a plain lined notebook. I've also slipped in a little Spirax notebook, 96 pages, number 561. So it's just like a tiny little pocket-sized one. I was just checking that I didn't have anything personal written on the other side, but yeah, this is just my little notes that I will be referring to. So it's a no-buy sort of a craft edition. I wanted to do this because as I said, I recently got into journaling and I have so many stationery supplies. I wanted to be like a painter artist at one point, and I just accumulated so many supplies. I was into lettering at one point, and now I'm just into that analog life. So back into journaling, back into writing my morning pages every morning, and with a new hobby, as I'm sure most of you or some of you would be familiar with. You just want to buy all the things, right? I feel like buying things, buying the yarn, buying the stationery is like a separate hobby in itself to the actual hobby that you want to do and make. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, about why I'm doing this no-buy challenge. I want to do it for a whole year starting July 1st. So I feel like that's a nice round number. I'll talk about how I'm doing it. I'll talk about the rules that I have that are specific to me, and then why I want to do it in the first place. Definitely going more analog has helped me feel more creative, and the whole thing is, I guess the bigger picture is a creative challenge to use what you have, and of course there are so many benefits to that. I'm just feeding off that energy really. So let me talk you through what I have done. It's just going to be like a chatty video, so roll up. I might work on this mitten. I probably won't because I can't multitask very well. Making a little, I think they're called warm and simple mittens. I will link the pattern down below. It is a free pattern that I have modified for my little one. I'm using opal sock yarn in my stash. I was working on a pair of socks that it was getting too hard for my brain to handle. Colorwork pair of socks. So I'm using this opal, I'm pretty sure it's opal sock yarn that we picked up in New Zealand to make her a little pair of mittens, because it is very, very cold here in Melbourne. But yes, really fun, really cute. Need to keep making it so that she has warm hands. But yes, let's get on to the destash. So the first thing that I've done, partly because I've done the stationery side, I have gathered up all the stationery supplies in my house. I say all, probably about 90%, and I've put most of them in this box. So most of the notebooks, there's sticky notes in here. There is more notebooks on this side. Pens, of course, bundles of pens. Washi tapes I've put in here. There's a washi tape holder in here. There's stickers, packets of random stickers. This was just all over my house, and I feel like there's more, but whenever, here's another pack of Pens I can put in, most of it I put in here, and I can always keep collecting and putting them back into that box when I come across stuff in my house, because like I said, it's everywhere. The yarn is also another matter. It's mostly either in my bedroom or in the yarn room. Not yarn room, I wish I had a yarn room. Can you imagine a yarn room? Anyway, off on a tangent. In a yarn little cubby we have in the living area, so that's sort of more contained, but I'll just make sure I can pick up all the different pieces so that they are both in the one spot. And I do find that having everything in one spot, it's sort of like Marie Kondo style, without the decluttering bit. I'll get to that. Having everything in one spot, in one of the one category, really helps you visualize and see what you have, and where things are, so you can find them when you need them, and also so you can use them up slowly and gradually. So yeah, this is a 1 year long project, so it's not one of those gather everything, declutter, be done in a weekend, in a day. It's just a way for me to be able to use up what I have in a calm and creative manner, and be grateful for the things that I have, instead of spending up my time looking for things online to buy, looking for the next best deal, or even using YouTube as a way to look at the supplies that other people have bought, and using that as inspiration for my next shopping list. I don't want to do that. I want to be focused on making things and creating things instead of consuming things. That is the overall plan. So yeah, step 1 was to gather all my supplies, and we've put it all in this one container that had yarn in it originally. I've moved that to the rest of the yarn collection, so yeah, so it's in there now, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm just looking at it now. It looks like the top is a bit cracked, but still does the job. Might just put some tape on that later. Okay, so the next one I had was to choose one thing and use it up. I have taken out the stationery that I want to use, and yeah, I guess just I'm sure I can this is a very flexible sort of a system, but without it making it too overwhelming, it will be easier to just select some things that would be nice to use and use those for the foreseeable future until I feel like I need something new, or until it runs out. I did recently find out that all Officeworks have a recycling program where if you have like empty pens or markers, you can bring them in to recycle. So I've got a little bag to put empty pens in now, which is nice, and I will do that when I run out of pens, and trying to accumulate more, because I feel like you can get free pens in a lot of different places will be the challenge. I also need to stop on purchasing stationery for my children, because they have enough markers and pens and paints and pencils. We don't have a lot of crayons, but they have enough to colour in, and I like colouring in with them, so we have enough. I can stop on that. So that is most of the stationery stuff we've talked about. The yarn, of course, I'm not going to go through the yarn that I have. I did recently go on holidays, did purchase some drops yarn, because we don't really have that in stores here in Melbourne. I do have projects in mind for all of this yarn. I also do want to put this on the wall at some point. Got to figure out how to do that. But yeah, most of these will be animals from Moosh and friends, and we've got some babies expecting on the way, so I might make this baby Dreamtime Merino 4-ply into a baby hat. Not me, my friends and relatives have babies on the way, so very, very exciting news, and an excuse to make more baby hats, which is always a fun sort of half a week process. So yeah, the yarn is going to be, I mean, I have so much yarn and I have so many projects in mind that I don't think I need to be buying any more. I do have a couple of exceptions, so I'm getting sort of into the rules that I want to apply. Of course, first and foremost is to use up what I have. I'm sure I have at least enough for 6 months worth of projects. If at some point I run out of yarn, I will let you know, but we will try to check in weekly, if not fortnightly, if not monthly, as often as I can, to let you know what projects I'm working on, what yarn I'm using up, and things like that. But yes, I have plenty. I have accumulated a hefty amount, and I have started also recording in my little knitting journal, which I have used. I've started a little knitting journal in one of these little A6 notebooks as well. I've got a page for knitting expenses too, which I guess won't be used very much this year. But anyway, it's there. The exception is we can buy knitting patterns, because I do have patterns in mind for some of the yarn I already have, but I haven't purchased them yet. I guess if I really need to buy more yarn to finish a project, there's that too, but I don't really see that happening. And what other exceptions did I have? We have the biggest wool event, arguably, of the year here in Victoria, the Bendigo Wool and Sheep Show coming up. I really want to go to the Bendigo Wool and Sheep Show, and we are definitely going this year. It will be my first year. Might even vlog, who knows? It will be hectic. I am bringing friends, family, might be meeting up with people I know there. I'm very excited, and as you may or may not know, the hashtag for that Bendigo weekend event is #Spendigo. So I'm going to try my best not to spend and buy a lot of yarn. I am thinking I might focus more on tools, like I would like a pair of sock blockers, or like one of those deep healer, not machines, but just one of those combs, to spruce up some of my woolen jumpers and stuff. Whereas, speaking of, this is one of the jumpers that I made out of yarns I bought from New Zealand, and it's held up pretty well. There is peeling if you look up close, but on camera it looks pretty good. Anyway, yes, I am making an exception for that weekend. I will try not to go crazy, and I will let you know what I purchase, but that is a blacked out weekend when it comes to this no-buy Destash sort of adventure that we're going on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And when it comes to stationery, I really don't need any more. I have so many notebooks to use up. I am very comfortable now, I feel, with using half-used notebooks, and even diaries. I feel like I have like exposed myself to lots of YouTube channels where they just white it out. They just white out the date. They write in their own, or they just use the pages for some other use, like art journals. I have started junk journaling with my daughter, and we do that as a fun exercise. I'm trying to teach her how to just express what's inside without worrying about the final product, without it being a contest, without worrying if it's going to be pretty or not, and just sort of enjoying the process. It is harder than I thought it would be to try to teach her those lessons, but it is a safe space where we can learn together, and I am really enjoying that. It's been maybe like a week, and we've like decorated the cover, we've done a couple pages, we've experimented with different mediums, but it's just a safe space for her and I, and I really love it, and it's helping to use up all the supplies, lovely supplies that we are so lucky to have. So yeah, that is, I know myself, and I know that I will still get itchy, and I feel like I can stay away from full price things at like Kmart or Officeworks. Sales get me, marketing but I feel like I've sort of embedded in my head that like sales will always come around again. They're on like a cyclical timetable. Like, the thing that gets me, clearance items, especially if they're only like $1 or $2. So my plan is, at the end of each month, if I really need to and if I'm really itching, I can go to either Officeworks or to like an op shop, and if I see any items, yarn or stationery, that are $1 or $2, my limit will be $10 a month. So if I find things that are less than $10 that are either at the op shop or on clearance once a month that I go to visit, and I guess I would just choose either the op shop or Office. I don't know, $10 is the limit, okay? Once a month. And if I feel at the end of the month that I don't need to go, then I won't go. But that is the exception that I'm putting on myself. Putting on myself the exception that I am granting, that I have accepted, will be a part of this challenge, and will make it hopefully more sustainable as the weeks go on. The hardest part will probably be making more of these videos to update you, so hopefully we can get to at least monthly. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a fun challenge that I want to try. Yeah, so patterns are okay to purchase. And now I guess we get to the why, and I guess there's so many reasons, right, to do a no buy, low buy challenge. Overconsumption, it's better for your budget, constraints on space that we have, feeling controlled by outside forces, just breaking the cycle of wanting to shop all the time or wanting to research what to shop all the time, I guess because it's so convenient now, right? Harm to the environment when we overconsume and we use more than we need when it is so easily accessible. Like, it's so hard to stop yourself from getting those pretty things that you want all the time. My personal reason, as I said before, was I want to reclaim the time I'm spending looking at things to purchase and spend it being more creative with the things that I have. And I feel like I always am more creative when I'm focusing on what I have and focusing on how to use those things in a way that will make me happy, in a way that I can make beautiful things. And I feel like when I make beautiful things, and the added layer on top of that is that I've made it with things that I already had in the house. Firstly, girl maths, it feels like I've made it for free. And secondly, I just feel more accomplished, and I guess there's a bit less guilt of like spending money sometimes. I don't know. I am not a naturally frugal person, but I have taught myself how to be by reading things like books like The Joyful Frugalista, blogs. The blog that got me onto all of this saving and being mindful of what you're spending is Mr. Money Mustache. So I recommend reading that from start to end. I don't think he posts a lot now, but if you really want to get into this sort of a mindset, that's what converted me. But yeah, I'm focusing on just craft this year. I might extend my focus in next year, but let's just start with crafts. That is probably where I spend most of my time thinking, most of my time being, and that is what I want to think about. I don't really spend a lot on books, or like we go to the library a lot, or clothes or anything, because I make my own now, apparently. Never thought I would say that. I don't think I would. Yeah, but yeah, I make sweaters. I make gloves. I'm making beanies. It is so cold. Did I mention it is so cold here in Melbourne? That's okay. It means that I can knit more, and it means that people will appreciate the things that I knit for them, because they are so cozy and warm. But yeah, I am looking forward to this challenge. I think that is all. Do you want me to show you some books that I got from the library? I'm trying to get back into reading fiction books, because a non-fiction book told me that it is better for expanding my empathy, and I feel like I'm empathetic already, but as I show you a non-fiction book. But you know, I need to try to get, I feel like can get more hooked into a fiction book than a non-fiction. So I have been following Seaweed Kisses on YouTube, and she recommended this book, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So that's on my reading list. I've got Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi. These are young adult fiction. I feel like this is my jam. Like, this is where I grew up. I loved reading, so why not continue? And Rewilding the Urban Soul by Claire Dunn. This is a non-fiction book, but I really want to read it, and I'm really excited. But yeah, this is not a book channel. It's just stuff that I want to read, and I am slowly trying to reclaim my analog life, let's say. Slowly trying to decrease the time I spend on my iPad, on screens, and replace it with these things that I love and that I want to teach my kids to love. I want to teach them how to be in real life. I want to teach them how to love this life and be a part of this life, and not feel like we have to be on a screen and feel entertained 100% of the time. I want to reteach that to myself, probably more than anything at this point, because they probably know way more than me about that stuff and about just being at this point in time. And I feel like it's just something that we all need to learn. I just feel like people are just always selling me something now. I get ads, and they're targeted ads, so they know what I'm into. I just need to stop that. Break the cycle. I just want to be myself, and I feel like I'm having I don't know, this might be TMI. I feel like my gut is holding a lot of stress, and I feel like if I can slow down and relax a bit, my body can digest food better. I don't know if I've been sitting here for too long talking to you. But yeah, let me know. Thank you, first of all, if you've made it this far into the video. Let me know if you would like to join me on this no-buy, low-buy yarn destash. What you will focus this on, because I feel like it's more sustainable to choose a couple of areas to focus on first, and then expand later on if you so wish. Let me know what exceptions you would make if you were to do a low buy, no buy year, and let me know any other thoughts you have. I would love to read that. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you are warm and that you have a really, really, really nice day.